Very interesting stuff going on in X right now. So looks like Elon Musk has suspended Laura Loomer's account for 12 hours, also took away her blue check mark, took away her subscription feature, and the message that's going around saying we've temporarily limited access to some of your account features. We have determined that you have violated the X rule, so we have temporarily limited some of your account features. While in this state, you can still browse X, but you're limited to only sending direct messages to your followers, et cetera, for 12 hours. It all started with this tweet right here. So Mario Nafal says, Silicon Valley's biggest limitation, engineering talent shortage. The US semiconductor industry alone needs over 160,000 engineers by 2032, driven by $250 billion in new investments. Demand for AI experts has skyrocketed with Elon calling for the talent war the craziest ever. Meanwhile, STEM programs struggle to produce enough graduates. The shortage threatens innovation from AI to semiconductors, slowing progress in global competitiveness. Expanding STEM education, streamlining high skilled immigration, and reskilling workers are urgent solutions. Investing in talent is investing in the future. Elon comments, no, we need more like double that number. Yesterday, the number of people who are super talented engineers and super motivated in the US are far too low. Think of this like a pro sports team. If you want your team to win the championship, you need to recruit top talent wherever they may be that enables the whole team to win. And then people start freaking out about this, saying, America first. Why do we need illegal immigrant, or why do we need immigrants taking jobs? Americans can work perfectly fine. I looked up the number, by the way. So there's only a couple 100,000 of these in the US, right? I think around 300,000. They get periods of 3 to 6 years, and the annual number is 65,000 with another 20,000 for highly specialized workers. But two sides of the argument is that one, companies are doing this because they're able to underpay these people. And, there's American workers that are coming out saying that they got their job replaced by an Indian immigrant that's a H1B visa holder. But at the same time, the Department of Labor says that they have laws in place where you have to pay the person, what the market rate is for that job, basically. But then there's loopholes where you could reclassify the job, or you could basically hire somebody for what's a low skilled job on paper, but make them do these, high skill tasks. And the companies have a lot of leverage over these people because they're basically dependent on the companies to stay in the country or to get their green card eventually. So it's really a question of, are we really trying to get the top talent, or are companies benefiting in a big way from underpaying people who are capable of doing the same job as Americans for a lower price because they don't have as much leverage? That's the question. And everybody online handled this in kind of a retarded way. So Laura Loomer saying today's H1B's super genius engineers, tomorrow's chain migration super spreader who brings 100 welfare dependent family members. In the age of remote work and the AI agents, there is no need to bring more Indian programmers. Well, let me just say, though, that is a fact that Indian parents are much better parents than American parents. Like, it's not even close. And then Laura Loomer keeps going. Deeply disturbing to see the appointment of Sriram Krishnan as a senior policy advisor for AI of the Office of Science and Technology Policy. It's alarming to see the number of career leftists who are now being appointed to serve in Trump's admin when they share views. And then this guy tweeted, anything to remove country caps for green cards, unlock skilled immigration would be huge. Then David Sachs says, point of clarification, Saram didn't say he wants to remove all caps on green cards. He said he wants to remove country caps on green cards. Right now, every country in the world gets allocated the same number of green cards, no matter how qualified applicants it has. So applicants from India have an 11-year wait, whereas applicants from many other countries have no wait at all. Suram still supports skills-based criteria for receiving a green card, not making the program unlimited. In fact, he wants to make the program entirely merit-based, supporting a limited number of high-skilled immigrants is a prevalent view on the right. Suram is definitely not a career leftist. You can see here all the India talk is getting brought up because 75% of these H-1B workers come from India. Here's what Vivek said about that, which sounds like pissed a lot of people off. Vivek says the reason top tech companies often hire foreign born and first generation engineers over Native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes from the down to the C word culture. Tough questions demand tough answers. And if we are really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s, coincidentally, when this program began in 1990, and likely longer. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater over Screech in Saved by the Bell or Stefano, blah, 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 you get it, will not produce the best engineers. In fact, I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much their kids could watch TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity and their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. It's a difficult thing to hear, but I can't deny this. This is true. Like we literally did an episode about why Indian parents are the best parents. We did this episode a year ago, and Indian parents literally raise the most responsible kids. At least Indian parents in America, worlds better, worlds more responsible than white American parents. Sorry, that might sting for you, but like, look at this. This is undeniable. What do you think the highest earning income is in America? Look at this. Median income household by ethnicity. Indian American, 152,000. The next highest, Filipino, 109,000. And you get down to the, Italian, German, white, 80 to 85,000. So in India, 34% of graduates get a STEM degree, right? And then freaking America, only 16% of college students get a degree in STEM. Like, what the fuck are you doing? That's the most important thing to get a degree in. Like it's terrible. We've like had this level of complacency set in where I mean, there's so many layers to this problem. Like, because I want to say that gold standard of the forced dual income situation where both parents have to work. But you know what? Like, if one parent was home, I really do not have the confidence that an American parent being home would make that much of a difference in getting having their kid be a high level achiever. Like you see some of the shit with China and India parents, like they'll fucking beat their kids if they aren't studying for their tests every day, getting A's and everything. So there's so many ways to go down. Like there's so many rabbit holes and different routes to go down with this thing. But like I guess the main question is the incentive for companies more about getting the best talent or is it more about saving money on hiring cheap labor? Because I think both things are objectively happening. Like there are people in India and in China and in these South Asia or these Southeast Asia places that are better than Americans at some of these jobs, right? Like that's just going to be a fact of the matter. If 34% of India is majoring in STEM and then 16% of America's majoring in STEM, like we shouldn't be letting kids major in these stupid things like liberal arts, for example. There should be like a hard cutoff for how many kids could be in the liberal arts program. And hey, maybe make it easier, or create incentives for American kids to want to major in STEM. We definitely need to crack down on the whole concept of potentially hiring cheap labor to get rid of American jobs because that's one of the core problems too. So I looked up on ChatGPT as a I wanted to know which companies hire the most H-1B visa workers or whatever. So it said I said which U.S. companies have the most H-1B visa hires. As of fiscal year 2023, the U.S. companies with the highest number of H-1B visa sponsorships are Amazon with 13,000, Infosys with 6,600, Tata Consultancy Services 5,500, uh, Cognizant Technology Solutions 53, Ernst Young 4,600. Microsoft 4,000, Google 3,500, IBM 3,000, Deloitte 3,000. So a lot of consulting firms and big tech companies. Then I obviously had to look at Tesla and said in 2023, Tesla filled 1,300 labor condition applications for H-1B visa holders. An average salary of 146,000, which Sounds like a lot. Doesn't sound like they're getting underpaid unless those are $200,000 jobs. So then I obviously looked up how many H-1B visa workers are in the US today. As of fiscal year 2023, approximately 755,000 individuals were admitted to the United States under H-1B status. This figure includes both new visa holders and those returning from international travel. It's important to note that the number does not represent the total number of population of H-1B visa holders currently residing in the U.S., as it accounts for multiple admissions of the same individuals and does not include those who did not travel during the year. The actual number of H-1B visa holders in the U.S. at any given time is difficult to determine because of factors like renewals. And when you say, why would a U.S. company hire H-1B visa workers? And yeah, specialized skills, addressing labor shortages, cost effectiveness, blah, blah, blah. And I looked up, are there loopholes that allow companies to use the H-1B program to hire cheap labor? And yes, there are. So wage level manipulation. The Department of Labor defines four wage levels for H-1B workers based on their experience and education. Companies can classify jobs at lower wage levels to reduce labor costs. Example, a role requiring significant experience might be classified as the entry level to justify a lower wage. To outsourcing firms and third-party placements, subcontracting practices, some IT consulting and outsourcing firms hire H-1B workers and place them at a third-party client site, often paying them less than market rates. Bulk applications, these firms file thousands of H-1B applications, increasing the odds of securing visas and creating a surplus of lower-paid workers for their clients. Job role inflation, generic job descriptions, so companies may use vague or generic job titles that fit the H-1B criteria but pay less than the actual market rate for specialized roles. H-1B dependence, limited mobility. So H-1B workers are tied to their sponsoring employer, limiting their ability to negotiate higher wages or seek alternative employment. This dependency can lead to wage suppression. No requirement to prove domestic shortages. Unlike other visa categories, H-1B employers are not required to demonstrate that they attempted to hire U.S. workers before hiring H-1B employees, enabling companies to bypass local talent. Misclassification of roles. Some employers misclassify roles to align with lower paying job categories while requiring workers to perform high level duties. Non-monetary costs and sponsorships. H-1B workers may accept lower wages in exchange for visa sponsorships and the possibility of obtaining a green card. Employers leverage this dependency to suppress wages. Exploiting the cap exemption. Employers exempt from the annual H-1B visa cap, like universities or nonprofits, sometimes partner with private companies to funnel workers to non-exempt roles at lower costs. Then you got this. So Laura Loomer's highlighting that Elon Musk said yes when Mario Nafal said play stupid games, win stupid prizes right after several accounts, including Laura's, were taken down or punished temporarily with the subscription thing and the blue check mark and having access to their account for a few hours. So it's happened to pretty much any account who was talking about this H-1B visa thing. But must say that Laura was getting kind of nasty with this, like straight up just talking shit about Indian people and like believe me, I'm like the last one to like throw the word like racist around or anything like that. But no, she was being like really nasty and distasteful about the whole thing. Like she was like just saying kind of hateful things about Indian people and whatever. Like, let me tell you something. There's a lot of people in America who are just lazy pieces of shit who do not deserve to be in America. There's countless Americans that I know that I would trade for immigrants that I know in 2 seconds. Like, take this person who's born in America. We'll take this immigrant who I know is a better person. I know is more hardworking. Well, I'll make that trade all day because people in America just aren't fucking hungry. It's really lame in terms of motivation. There's not a lot of killers in America with like that drive and that killer instinct. It drives me fucking insane to be honest. But like I think where I'm ending up at with this debate is that deport the fuck out of the people who are a drain to the economy. Like I wouldn't even be against deporting Americans who are on fucking welfare. Like fuck you, you're a drain to the system. Get out. I don't care. But to people who are smart and competent and capable and like pushing us in the right direction, yeah, I'm not gonna get upset about those people coming to America. Anybody who's making this like a America versus not America thing, it's kind of a shitty thing to say because there's people who are born in America that are Americans that I fucking despise and have zero respect for because they're lazy pieces of shit. And then there's people that have immigrated to America legally and illegally in situations that I have a ton of respect for because they're hardworking, smart, and motivated. Even in terms of, give me a hardworking, smart, motivated illegal immigrant over a lazy, entitled piece of shit American all day, every day. Like, is anybody going to argue with that? So I think that's where I'm ending up with the same. Like, yeah, it seems pretty clear that companies do abuse this H-1B visa thing to underpay employees and ultimately takes away from American salaries, American jobs. Like, I mean, like there's a lot of cases that we've seen, and that's something that needs to be stopped. But I don't think the solution to that is to say like, no, we shouldn't recruit the best talent from other countries. Let's see, what am I forgetting? Oh yeah, and then people are saying that Elon is bought and paid for by China, which I don't think that's true, but, yeah, he's heavily dependent on China letting him have access to their market. I mean, 34% of all Tesla revenue comes from the China's market, so, yeah, it's definitely doing some ass kissing with China, but I think there's a difference between kissing ass to have access to the market and being completely bought and paid for. And Laura Loomer, like, we don't win this election without Elon, so shut the fuck up. We had 20 million potentially leeches to our society come across the Mexican border over the last 4 years. Like, you're gonna yell and kick and scream about a couple 100,000 bright, ambitious immigrants that were the best of the best in their field coming to America through the H-1B visa thing. I think that's where I'm ending up. That's where I'm ending up with this thing. Laura does some good things, but she's also kind of retarded. So that's where I'm at with this. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I missed anything. Tried to cover all the stops, but yeah, this one's interesting. Hopefully, it doesn't become a trend of Elon censoring people. But I think it's because she said some nasty stuff. So if you want to ask me any questions, correct me on anything, obviously comment below. Connect with me on Minnect. The link's below for that. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.